make sure we get them answered straight away.
Sounds good.
All right, excellent.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, so we'll kind of jump in. I think maybe just a little bit of a refresher before we talk about the reporting / dashboard / list capability that NXT has. The first thing to note is all of the current canned reports that you're using right now in Razor's Edge, all of those are available as well, because Razor's Edge NXT, once again, of course, is the web view and the database view. Database view is what you're using now. So all of those reports, I actually saw a few of them that Matt had shared with me, pledge status reports, all those kind of things you can continue to do, plus some of the new and more intuitive reporting features. I say reporting because it's going to be a little bit of difference of lists and dashboards and actually build your own reports that I'll show you today. So I think the key with NXT is everything you're doing now plus some new great functionality. And what I wanted to do is kind of start off and do a quick little refresher on lists. So I want to talk about lists. I want to talk about dashboards that we've got. I'm going to show you, this is actually live. This is what everybody's using now. And at the very end, I'm going to show you what we're currently testing internally that we're hoping to have out in Q2 this year, which is going to be your own drop and drag reporting capabilities. I'll show you that at the very end, and I think some really great features and just kind of showing you where we're headed. I think the cool thing that Matt mentioned is when we look at lists and dashboards today, the stuff that was available back in August, we actually have new features, lots of new features, even within lists and dashboards. So just kind of going off of how we're focusing on developing our solutions in Razor's Edge NXT, it's really kind of cool. If you remember, it's really every 1 or 2 weeks that we push out updates. So we've even got some cool new stuff to show you since August. What we're looking at here in Razor's Edge NXT WebView is going to be the list building capabilities. So once again, this is, you've got access to reports, you've got all of the queries, let's say, that you're using right now in Razor's Edge that you're used to. And this is what we kind of call our simple list building. So this isn't every field that we've got in query. We do have a lot of fields. We're going to continue to build them out. And this is really designed to, on the fly, you can pull a quick and easy list that you can then assign to someone. You can do a list to do a personal call or email. You can do a list to attach to an email or a mailing. Lots of capabilities that we have here. And when we think about list building, could be a constituent list, an actions list, a gift list, or an opportunities list. And once again, opportunities are proposals. Those are your grants, your major gift proposals, things like that. And what's cool about this is I could build a new list in the web view. I can open up a saved list that I've got here, letting me know when I built it or who built it. If I'm looking at some shared lists, how many records were in them. So I can open up past lists, or I could start with a static query. This is actually pulling from Razor's Edge, right? So the query tool that you're used to, I could actually start off with a list with those records and then build new filters off of there. So this all works together and some great flexibility. What I'm going to do now, so I'm going to build a quick new list. I'm going to do 2 lists for us. I'll do one with some normal kind of filters over here on the right-hand side that you can see. And then I'll actually show you a new feature that we've got here that's going to allow us to actually map out features which was not available back in August, which is really cool. One quick note, we've actually already heard feedback that a lot of organizations don't like the filters on the right-hand side. So if we were going to be doing this 2 weeks from now, we're actually going to include these filters. They're going to pop up right in the middle of the screen here. And we even are simplifying this. This is built on, actually modeled after Amazon, kind of filtering down, but we're even doing some new features there. But just to kind of show you a quick update, let's do a quick list, and we could say, you can see here we've got some giving filters, and I'll just look at quick total giving greater than or equal to let's say 2,500, and we could pick a different date range, specific range, and I'll start with January 1st, 2015. Here's where we could filter on campaigns, funds, and appeals if I needed to. And I'll just pick a few. And then down here, maybe we want to do our wealth analytics too, show me our 4 or 5-star wealth givers. So we've got some options there. This is just going to be a quick list to pull, and then I'll show you the mapping feature, how we can incorporate that. All right, 41 constituents. So now with these 41 constituents, I can save this back in the database view, which is pretty cool, right? So this actually can show up as a query in the database view, as a query list in the database view. If you guys are using query lists, cool feature there. But then I could also just save it here to be used in the web view. And I could save it as a private list. Others can view, others can manage. So I'll do that. And I'll say our 2,500 plus givers. And I'll show you a cool new feature we've just added as well. So now that I've actually saved this list, let's say that your executive director needs to see this list. Well, you can go ahead and share it. This is actually going to give you a URL copy link that I could copy right into an email, send it over. They're going to get the email, click into that URL, and it's going to open up this exact list. So a cool little share feature that we've added. Now, one of the other things to show you that, like I was mentioning, a new feature. And actually, I don't know if I have anyone in the Seattle area. So let me actually start a new list in this one. Let's actually start off with location. So I'll actually come in here and we'll actually filter using the map view. I'm going to pull up Seattle. It's going to show me my constituents in the area, and it's going to show you higher concentration. You can see the numbers there. And now let's say, all right, I actually am going to be on Mercer Island, or I'll be in this area. Looks like we're going to have about 50 constituents, or maybe even a little bit more. I've got 3, so we'll have a few more here. Now what I can do is be able to save this, access this, see who these 53 constituents are. Go back to my list view, take a look at them, filter down and say out of these 53, I want to only meet with about, hopefully about 4 people today. Now show me out of these people who gave greater than $5,000, let's say. And take a look at that. Filter down. Let's see out of 53 who we have. We've got 3. So now I'm going to go meet with Kyle, Joanne, and Elaine a little bit later. So as you can see, this cool new map feature, first of all, you can use the map from an existing list, or you can start a map with mapping out who you want to go meet with in what area. So just another cool feature that we've got here. I wanted to stop there and pause. Any questions, any thoughts on the list here?
No, none on our end.
All right, perfect. We're going to jump into dashboards then. I did want to point out, of course, there's gift lists as well. And if you kind of look at a gift list, if I were to build a new one, different filters, right? Just more of the gift. I can choose my different gift types. I can choose time periods. I can choose given a response to campaigns, funds, or appeals. So different filters for different lists that we do have. All right, let's take a look at the dashboards that come with Razor's Edge NXT. And what's cool about these dashboards is that you're not creating them. They're there already, but you can filter down. You can actually use these dashboards to create lists for you. So they're very interactive. And I'm just going to show you a couple of dashboards here. And there's actually some new ones that we've added since you've seen this last. We've got some retention and acquisition dashboards, which we'll take a look at. But right here is the ability, for example, maybe just high level, you can see the year-over-year performance, fiscal year 15, 16, and 17. So you can kind of see your peaks and valleys. So if you wanted to, you could come here and say, all right, well, looks like this past month was a pretty decent month as compared to the last couple of years, $97,000 in revenue. Well, who gave that money? So right from the dashboard in February 2017, I'll click into that, of course, and it'll pull up a list over here on the right-hand side. In a flyout menu, I can now filter down out of these donors if I need to and show me all of those people who gave gifts over 500, whatever it might be. And as you can see up here, I can go ahead and create my list. Now it's back here. I can use that for an email, a call list, whatever it might be, right? So everything is kind of working together here in the dashboards. I'm going to show you another dashboard here, and this is going to be our, this is a retention dashboard. And we've actually created retention and acquisition as built-in dashboards, right? We do have some filters on the top. We can filter down funds, campaign, appeal, things like that. But if you take a look here, if you're familiar with the LiveBunt report, we kind of have that as just a built-out feature here. So there's your live bunt donors. Instead of having to go and create that report, I simply click into the dashboard. I've got 56 givers who gave last year, but unfortunately not this year. Here they are. Once again, I'm like letting the dashboard do the work for me and create my list. And luckily, we've got Paula Abdul as a giver there. So she's going to pop up in our list here, and now we can go map and meet with her if we need to. So just kind of a cool feature. And I think this was available back in August. Got so many updates I'm trying to remember. But as you can see, any dashboard that you're working with, whether it's campaign, fund, appeal, acquisition, you can actually come in here and have that emailed to you. Let's say that you love this dashboard, and maybe you're not coming in every day to see it. Of course, you could, though. But maybe you want to have this emailed to you weekly, Monday, starting at 8 a.m. or something like that. You've got the capability to go ahead and schedule any of these dashboards to be emailed out to you. So as you can see, we've got some really great features here within our dashboards. I wanted to jump back here real quick to the overview area, and then I'll show you one more before we take a look at some of the future of reporting in NXT. The date ranges up here. If I wanted to look at gifts in the last 30, 60, 90 days, 180 days, I want to put my own range in, I can do that. My 40 gifts is going to change to 183. And, the theme here is making these interactive once again, where we can click down in and see that information. We also created some very unique features that aren't in Raiser's Edge that you're used to now. We created a donor lifecycle where you can easily see acquired supporters, retained, recaptured, at risk, lapsing, lapsed, right? So you can kind of see that. And if you're ever curious about what the donor lifecycle is, because I'm here, I can actually just click on the the info tile in the top right. And because I'm here, it's going to show me exactly what all this information means, right? What's the donor life cycle analysis? What does acquired mean? What does retained mean? So we've got, easy, they're very intuitive to begin with, but we do have some easy definitions that you can go to, or maybe a little help menu, if you will, over here on the right-hand side.
And if I can pile on that,
ability within those definitions to update them? In other words, if we wanted to have some different definition for what a lapsing donor is, could we change it, or is that just built in?
You will be able to. Right now, it's hard-coded. That's another example of being able to come in and make a change. We already have that on the roadmap. I'll have to double-check to see exactly when that is. But we also have the ability for you to create your own KPIs or metrics, which I'm going to show you here in just a second, which is also, this is what I'm about to show you in a second is what's not live right now that we're testing. This is live right here, and the ability to change your definition of this will be live as well on the roadmap, but definitely something, a direction we're heading in.
Okay.
Yep. Matt, you had something to add?
Yeah, I was going to highlight just the emphasis on retention in particular. I think broadly across the nonprofit space as a whole, the development team works so hard to get, new donors and new dollars in the door, and yet, and this is industry-wide, it's about 74% don't renew from one year to the next. And usually that's from a lack of stewardship or some other items where they didn't really feel like they're being brought along in the mission. And so I think, having these tags automatically applied to donors in various phases of their life cycle, where they're acquired or where they're a renewed donor, or they're lapsing, or they're lapsed, or they're lost, really allows you to begin to take some preventative actions where previously you didn't have that easily at your ability to. I mean, the live bunt report has been out there for a long time, but be able to even look a little further out there at further classifications, just this great step to helping you, sort of steer away from problems before they arise.
All right.
Definitely, and that's acquisition. And then the last one I'll show you here, unless you have any questions before we move on. We do have campaign, fund, and appeal dashboards, of course, giving you specific information, your number of gifts, average gift towards a goal, breaking it down on campaigns by fund, by appeal. But even if, let's say that you've got a new Y that's opening up, or something like that. We've got a capital campaign going. This is just my example. Of course, any campaign, fund, or appeal that you've got going on, you can do this for. But let's say I wanted to drill down and look at specifics on that right from the dashboard. Right? I can actually open up that campaign, in this case, a capital campaign, and it's actually going to give me some reporting metrics right out of the box for this capital campaign, right? So things that in the past you would have to have run 3 or 4 different reports to get this. So, for example, the capital campaign, if you wanted to do a top donors report, that's a separate report. We've got it all in one place here, right? Here's actually the top 25 donors to that capital campaign. We have it broken up by age group as well, right? So let's take a look at the millennials that are giving to the capital campaign. Looks like, we've got, they're the second largest group. Well, maybe we're going to do a targeted email campaign towards them. Once again, I can click right into that group. Here's a list of my 25 to 34-year-old givers, their donations. Now I can go ahead and once again save that list and reach out to them. So a lot of great metrics that you can get built in. You're not having to create these dashboards yourself. It's just all part of the analyze area.
Are these reports, are they customizable?
To a certain extent. So you have the ability to filter on a few pieces of information. Now, on the other reports that you saw, now this one is more of what kind of revenue, and you can decide what you want as received or committed revenue. You've got that on this particular one, but if this is just a campaign record, if we actually go back to the Analyze dashboards, what the filters that we have right now, we do have certain filters, maybe not every filter in the system, but you have the ability to filter on campaign, fund, appeal, date range, received revenue on that one, right? If we went to our fund Analyze dashboards, you're going to see a few different filters like campaigns. We still have campaigns, funds, and appeals, gift date, but you also have appeal, fund category, are they active or inactive, right? Some things like that. Jumping over to retention, we've got different filters for that. Fundraiser, so what's the retention for me as a fundraiser, right? How many donors have I retained as a gift officer there? I'll just pick me. It's probably going to be quite low. But you're going to be able to see that information filtering down on that. So we do have some filters built in here, not every filter. Once again, maybe there's some reports that you can continue to use in Razor's Edge that you're used to. Some of these are here, but we're always going to continue to build out filters here as we move forward. And then what I'm about to show you means you can basically almost from scratch build a report and pick and choose all of your different metrics and filters.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep. So that's what this area is, Insights Beta, right? So everything I've shown you so far is live. Now I'm going to show you kind of the direction that we're headed here. And I'll actually go ahead and clear this out. We'll kind of start from scratch. What we've done here is we've kind of created, and we're still adding some kind of finishing touches to this. Like I said, it's being tested. So what you see here may look even a little bit different or even a little bit more polished when this goes live. But this is the ability to drop and drag and create your own report here in Razor's Edge. I'm going to show you a quick example of myself building one real quick, and then I'll actually show you some saved reports that I have. So first of all, you have the ability to kind of drop and drag fields. We can pick and choose, easily pulling in a gift date range, and I'll pick, last year, as you can see. We've got measures and attributes, so you know what to pull in over here. So, for example, I want to do gift amount. So just by pulling over gift amount, it actually summed it up, and it's actually giving me recommended next steps as I build my report. So do I want to see a trend by month or by quarter? Do I actually want to compare this between each, and you can see the drop down, between each constituent or whatever it might be. In this case, I want to see a trend. And so I'll actually compare over different quarters. And then it's even saying, well, one more step. Why don't you compare this with your previous year? So I can go ahead and do that as well. So that's just a quick report. But now I still want to see this maybe by fund. I kind of want to measure it or view it by that. So maybe I want to go ahead and pull that information in, right? So now I've stacked it by fund. As you can see, We can drill down and see that information. So really, you know, in about 15 or 20 seconds, I pulled in a report. I'm looking at, comparisons over different quarters and years. I can come back over here and change some filters if I need to, and we can do it by month or whatever it is. We've got some different options that we can do here. So we're really kind of creating drop and drag reporting, if you will, where you can kind of build a report from scratch. You can save reports. You can have it in a bar chart. You can have it in a line chart. We can save it as a table if you prefer to see things that way. This is the column chart once again that I used. So we're kind of making that kind of very intuitive reporting that you can see here. Similar to, go ahead and just discard those changes. This is similar to like a gift detail and summary report by fund, right? This is more of the summary aspect of it, where you can come in and choose what gift types, for example, we're going to have here. I'm choosing these gift types in this column. And so as you can see, very kind of similar terminology, just laid out in a little bit of a different way, and also made it so that it's kind of easy to use. Now, one other thing that's coming out, this is what we call visualizations. We also have some KPIs that are coming out. So this is another very unique feature to what we're including with Razor's Edge NXT. Now, I'm going to show you just a quick overall view here, and then I'll kind of show you how you can build one here. But really, KPIs, and this would be any field that you think is important as a key performance indicator that you want to be notified of. For example, this is gifts received. Let's say that you want to be emailed when the gifts received in the last 12 months exceed, 300,000, whatever number you want to pick, right? Or let's say that it's the change, anything over a 15% change, good or bad, you want to be notified, right? So you can you'll get an email saying that, this key performance indicator has been reached or whatever it is. You can set that alert, as you can see here. It might be something like the number of gifts that came in, the number of lapsing donors, right? Constituent actions by fundraiser. How many actions, how many emails and phone calls are the fundraisers doing? What's the gift amount received to date by the fundraiser, and what % change of that over the last year, right? That's a key performance indicator. Saving some of those reports that we saw before. All right, this is our giving wealth report. We can look at the next ask amount, the wealth rating, the life cycle status that we've got here, average gift amount, sum of gift amount. We can kind of create that. These are some really great features that we've got built in on top of the canned reports, the list building, and the analyzed dashboards. And
the fact that all the stuff that you're used to in Razor's Edge 7 is all still there. So all those reports that the team uses now still available to run. This is all in addition to that.
Got it.
And actually, we have weekly meetings with our products team, so we actually work closely with them. I mean, just yesterday, our product manager for NXT was like, go ahead and ask for some KPIs. What are important to people? Any current Razor's Edge clients that you're using. So feel free to let us know what might be some good key performance indicators that you want. We can build them out. This is really kind of the way that we're doing. We're developing the solution, right? It's listening to you and kind of building it out accordingly. So, kind of definitely a different way that we're developing solutions and software here at Blackbaud.
That's great.
All right, that's a pretty high-level overview of the NXT kind of lists and analyze and dashboards. But let me know what questions you have.
Peter, do you have any questions? I think that's good.
And then one question for you, Trent. If I'm an individual fundraiser and I go in and I create these insights or or visualizations, are they just mine, or can I share them with my team, or how do they get used by others within the organization?
Similar to the list, you'll be able to share if you want to, but you can create some private ones as well. So it's similar to lists where you can create a private list or share it with people. For example, if I wanted to go and do this, I can see everything created by me. If I do have reports that everyone should be able to see, I've got, all of these reports that my teammates have created as well. As you can see, I can kind of go down and, I can pick a random one that somebody created, take a look at it. So I can see that information here. This is something that, just like the list, and we don't have it built out yet, but being able to share this, and it'll just pull up a little list that you copy the URL, pop it in an email. You can share that report. You can have people go here. You can set up key performance indicators to be notified. Whoever else needs to be notified on those certain things. So there's a lot of great ways that you can share that information.
That's great.
So, Russell and Peter, any other questions or any questions from either of you?
I don't think so. I think that covers it.
Okay. And Russell, I know when you and I were chatting yesterday, you had mentioned and asked a couple of questions around chatter, and is there a sort of an equivalency within NXT? And although there are some really helpful collaboration features, particularly for team fundraising, and when you have multiple stakeholders who are working on an ask with a fundraiser, it's not going to be pushing email notifications out the same way that chatter does. So it doesn't work exactly the same way, so just kind of wanted to share that with you, because I know I kind of set the expectation that it might work similar to that, but as we kind of thought about the way that chatter does work, NXT has lots of collaboration features, but it won't, we'll call it proactively push out emails about certain topics, other than the KPI notifications.
Yeah.
There's one right on the corner here.
Okay.
All right. Well, great. So I'll go ahead and stop recording now and get this converted and put into a media format that we can use, and then I'll get you a link to it so you can share with your colleagues.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, great. That sounds great, Matt.
Okay, so it should be.
All right. Thank you both. And if there's any other questions, please let me know.
Will do. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.